So I made a post a few days ago on the community tab here on the YouTube channel asking you guys to ask as many questions as you could, and I would try my best to answer as many as possible. So in this video, I'm going to do just that and provide as many examples as I possibly can. Make sure to have your notifications on because I do plan on doing this again in the future so that you don't miss out on the next question post. So the first question that I had was, I just watched another one of your videos and you mentioned the digital art commission. I would love to do them. I hope you will do a video on how to create them, or any advice you can give in an upcoming video is most appreciated. So for the digital art commissions, I would highly recommend looking at the different types of listings that are currently being sold on the first page that have a good amount of customer reviews, just showing that they're actively being sold, and then take your listing and make sure that it is incorporating all of the attributes of the top performing listings. Whether you are creating anime type commissions or more like fantasy art, I did see a lot of pet portrait ones. I think it really will depend on the type of digital art commission that you are creating as to how your listing should be set up. But other than that, it will really mostly depend on your communication with the customer, since they will be requesting a particular type of style along with their subject for the commission. When you talk about your personal journey at the beginning of starting on Etsy, how much time did you commit in the week versus how much do you spend now? What software would you recommend people to master first? So it was quite a different story in the beginning. I didn't have as much time as I do now, and no VAs or a lot of the different softwares that I do incorporate now. But I did really just dedicate any extra time that I had throughout the day, as well as utilizing a couple hours early in the morning and also late at night as well. I did have an infant at home. My other child was in school at that time. So I would work for about 2 hours in the morning before anyone was up, and then nap time was about a 3-hour long time. And then at night, when my husband would be home, I would dedicate another 2 or 3 hours. So just being able to utilize those little blocks of time gave me about 5 to 6 hours a day, though this will be different for you depending on if you work a 9 to 5 or if you have little ones at home. I would just recommend creating a schedule that works for you and setting aside time blocks where you have them, and then trying to bulk work at that time to get as much done as you possibly can. The top question in my mind that I commented on a former video was, how applicable do you think your strategies will be for new stores, as the opportunity isn't the same playing ground for well-established stores or stores that started during COVID? Example, your new hybrid test store. And secondly, what is exactly considered a good demand and fairly low competition in terms of numbers? So I do think and believe that my strategies are working for stores now, as well as in my own test store. And I will point out that my digital shop was actually created in January of 2022, so last year, not during COVID or post-COVID. So my strategies definitely did work last year, which do revolve around increasing click-through rate and then growing your own external audience, so you're not reliant on the Etsy algorithm and worrying about competition, as well as trying to always find new customers. I focus more on selling again and again to your same customers, building a loyal group of fans that you can just keep coming back to again and again. I have seen on the new test store that my strategies are still working, so I do think that it is completely applicable for new stores that start out now. Secondly, your follow-up question for good demand and fairly low competition. I have pulled up eRank here and just typed in a broad keyword of planner. And what I'm looking at are these two columns here, which is average search and Etsy competition. So theoretically, I want both of these to be green, but I will look at them if they are both yellow or one is yellow and one is not, just because it's still possible to break into that category. So a high amount of search would be green and a low amount of competition would also be green. So for this first example, we would have for a homeschool planner, 2,094 average searches with 16,000 results. There's quite a few other ones down here with much lower competition, but this is what I'm looking at. I also think it's good to look at ones with yellow, just because that's still quite a bit amount of search that a lot of people might not be going after. Ones like this, which would be this IVF planner, would be a good example of still a fairly good amount of search with a low amount of competition. Would you please talk about how to launch a digital store, how to do Etsy ads, what daily budget should we do at first, when to do sales on digital products, and how much you should discount your products when on sale, and how to run a sale or how long to run a sale. So I think that this will vary based on your type of individual product and your niche. Digital products in general can be a wide variety of a $2 to $3 product all the way up to $25 digital planner. So it really does depend on the type of product versus what type of sale you'll want to run. I want to leave this one up just for a follow-up on another question. So let me just move up here. This is not a good day to show an example because I don't have a sale running. Most shops within the sublimation world do run sales very often. I usually have one on at least 3 to 5 times a week. I did leave it off today just because it is a lower traffic day, so it kind of makes up for it with the higher pricing. But I really think you should look at your particular product category and the competitors and what type of pricing or percentage off that they are discounting, whether that is 25 to 45% off, to determine that particular pricing strategy. I also think that running ads in the beginning can be beneficial, though I do highly recommend, if you don't have the budget for it, to wait until you start seeing sales organically and then run ads on those particular listings if they are already converting organically. If you are starting out, I recommend around $5 a day, depending on how many listings you have, and to set it for at least a minimum of 30 days so that you have enough data to make a decision at the end at which listings are actually performing or converting well. I bought your course for the annual price and I am learning new things even though I have studied so much. I also purchased 1 month of the design club, but am confused as to the rules for it. I was thinking I could use the designs to create more tumblers physical for my shop, but I need clarification about what I can do with these designs. I love designing, but being older, I am just not as fast as I need to be. Can the designs be edited like you do with the secret weapon? And thanks for all you do to help others. Yes, you can completely edit them, though they are not editable, meaning they are flattened PNGs. But if you have the ability to put them in something and erase elements and add new ones, you can definitely do that. And backing up to this, this is my membership that she was referring to. It is for use on physical items only. So by paying the monthly membership fee, you have access to all of my designs as well as the shop Dixie Digital or Dixie Rose Digitals. And yes, you can place these on any physical or handmade items. Just the key component here being physical, whether that is print on demand or handmade. They can be used on any physical items, and you can either purchase this at the monthly or the yearly rate as well. And I do want to clarify, you bought the course for the annual price. That is just a one-time fee, and it will be lifetime access, so there is no annual renewal. So just wanted to point that out in case there was any clarification needed on that pricing. Would you be able to go through some evergreen niches? I'm nervous what will be in my shop after Halloween and Christmas are over. And would it be best to start adding Valentine and spring designs in November and December on Etsy for the algorithm to pick up our offerings? Yes, so I do always recommend, if it's for a seasonal or a holiday product, to create and have those listed at least 2 to 3 months in advance, just so the algorithm does have that time to rank the listings. I would highly recommend for something like Valentine's to start adding those anytime after Thanksgiving or mid-November even. You should be good to go, as that's what I'll be doing within my own shop. And as far as evergreen niches, some of my favorite ones are always occupations. So the occupation niche is anything from dental to teachers to lawyers, and any occupation that you can think of usually has some type of passionate following, as well as awareness design. So think cancer awareness, even though they do have specific months that are tied to them. I have seen that they do still sell year round regardless of the time of year. Another way to find good evergreen ideas is to use ChatGPT. I just typed in, for example, tell me 10 evergreen niches for t-shirt designs. And it did give a bunch of examples that are all pretty great, except for the holidays and seasons, since that's going back to more of, once again, holiday seasons. But like funny and humorous designs, these always sell well for me. Animals, you can niche down to like cats and dogs, and then even sub niche to specific breeds of cats and dogs. You have nature and outdoors, inspirational quotes. I would piggyback with inspirational, that the Christian niche also has done very well. And then there are quite a few other good examples, but you could switch this out for Tumblr designs or for any other type of product category to try and get different results. Starting out on Etsy or a major platform is fine for starting out, but do you have a strategy for a more stable business model? I've wondered, in the age where people get canceled or shadow banned, what of the execs at Etsy wake up tomorrow and decide they aren't going to allow you, for whatever reason, to let you list your digital products anymore, or Etsy gets replaced by a new platform forcing you to start all over. Things like Craigslist and eBay used to be huge, but a lot of scammers have ruined them. Etsy is changing too. Initially, it was about selling handcrafted items. Now bigger businesses are selling on there, and some items aren't handcrafted or craft supplies at well. I completely agree with you, which is why I do have a backup plan, which is the Bailey Tumblr Design membership model that I created very soon after creating digital products on Etsy as a backup plan in case I was ever to be removed from the platform, which I do have. That could happen to me as well. So what I have done to protect myself in that particular case is to build up a Facebook group of close to 10,000 people now, with an email list of over 18,000 people, and this site. So in the hopeful chance, or the not hopeful chance that that ever happened, I would be able to reach out to my audience, and a percentage would be certain to come over and purchase from me on my own site. And then I would probably incorporate some type of marketing to continue to market this type of membership, which would not have anything to be doing with Etsy at that point. So yes, I do highly recommend as soon as you can to create your own site, whether that is a membership model or you sell them individually like on a Shopify store, so that you always have a backup of all of your designs or products listed elsewhere, and then also continue to build your own external audience so you're not reliant on the Etsy platform. If you were starting a sublimation store selling digital files only, what steps would you take to gain the most traction right off the bat? Is it worth spending $50 to $100 on Etsy ads in the beginning to get noticed? So this is a strategy, and if you do have the budget, then yes, it could be a fast track way for you to see if your designs or your digital products convert. Because if you are spending that amount of money a day, you will know right away if your designs are converting. And this, if they don't, that it will be a matter of the design was not on point for your market or your niche, or it could be a pricing issue as well. Least of all, it could have to do with the amount of reviews that you do or don't have. Some stores that don't show any stars could not see as many conversions as those that do. So I would recommend to have at least a few reviews up and a few sales before you consider running that type of ad budget, though once again, it could fast track your way to see and act as a way of testing your products out. I'm not sure if it is an issue in the Tumblr world on Etsy, but I am having a hard time with other stores stealing my designs that take off. How do you protect your source of income from being taken away when others can copy and paste your designs on their goods or just steal your listing photos entirely? I am exhausted looking over my shoulder, having to do daily searches to see more shops steal my hard work. Yes, unfortunately, this is a very huge problem on Etsy, not only in the Tumblr world, but sublimation in general. And unfortunately, having been someone whose designs have been stolen hundreds of times, there is not much that you can do because we cannot realistically copyright every design, and actually filing a copyright is where they will be permanently removed. I did pull up this store as a very specific example because they actually have over 60 of my direct designs that they are selling. I'm pointing out some of them, and we just have not had the time to go in there and create listings through the Etsy IP reporting platform to file the takedowns for these, but we will be. My hope was that this store would be shut down fairly quickly because they are selling a ton of trademark and copyright items, and that would have taken care of them so that I wouldn't have to do this extra work to go and file the claims. But this is a example of a store that is directly taking designs, as well as other great stores, designs and selling them as their own. When I did reach out to the owner, the response that I got was that I needed to provide them with my copyright number, otherwise they would not be taking it down. So yes, this is part of the game that we have to play on Etsy, and last year I stopped doing checks about it. This is one that we will report just because there are so many that are actually being sold. But other than that, I will usually just reach out to the shop owner, let them know that someone's either reported them to me and ask them to take it down. Most of the time they will. This is a rare case where they did not. I am new to using Everbee. How do you choose your 13 tags and words to use in your title? So I like to choose my keywords with the highest amount of search first, and those are the ones that I will structure within my title, and then any extra ones, and I do try to use alternate ones, so not the same ones within my tags to fill out the rest, to hopefully get found for additional keywords that are not also within the title. I just choose, like I said, the ones that are input into eRank and Everbee the most, and structure with the highest search volume. As a larger store, I don't look at competition, but as one that a new shop starting out, I would definitely go for the ones with the least amount of competition first. For digital products, I see you use my designs. How do you build bundles with that, or do you do them yourselves? So yes, I do not use my designs to create any bundles or list products actually, though I have in the past before. We just have a different workflow, and I have VAs now that do different parts that just seem to work for us better, but we do use my designs for bulk upscaling of AI images and background removers. So I will add anywhere from 15 to 20 different clip art images and click the remove background, and then click the upscale by 4 button, and then that will automatically remove the background, upscale the image, and we can download as a zip folder, and I can continue editing them and adding them to new designs. So it's really just a big time saver for me as far as bulk removal of the background, and it seems to do the best job that I found, even better than in Canva, though Kittle's background remover works very well as well. Do you think that it's bad to have an Etsy shop that has both handmade and print-on-demand products in it? What about handmade, print-on-demand, and digital products in one shop? So I don't think that it is bad to have both types of products, and I actually do teach how to set up this type of store in the hybrid method videos, and there are a few of them. I will pop them up on the screen here, so definitely refer to those videos, but I think it really just needs to be directed towards your audience as far as both types of products. If they are applicable and both types of products would be bought by the same customer, then that's where this type of store has a place. I wouldn't recommend selling SVG files next to something like socks for golfers, just because it doesn't make sense. It's not the same type of customer who would be buying both of those products, and you can't remarket to them in the future, which is why I have the strategy of building niche specific stores or audience based stores so that you can find those ideal customers and sell to them over and over again, instead of finding brand new customers all of the time because you have more of just a general type product shop. Does your course teach everything you do to make money online? So my course, Digitally Purpose, is a start to finish strategy approach of how I grew and maintain my other shop as well as the Tumblr shop, but it is a specific Etsy digital product course. It does not go into everything that I have created on the Tumblr design membership shop, or like affiliate marketing that I do, or email marketing and different business avenues such as this YouTube channel. It is very specific to selling digital products on Etsy. Though I do have plans to add another module in the future, which is more on how to set up a membership type model of a store for digital products, though the release date for that is yet to be determined. If you were actually starting out, would you do Etsy still, or would you create your own site? So I get asked this a lot, and yes, I would still start out on Etsy because of their built-in traffic. It is much easier to get an audience built up off of Etsy by directing them towards your email list and your Facebook group by finding them there, versus starting out on your own store and attempting to find those customers, especially if you have no marketing background. So I would recommend starting on Etsy first, as well as starting your own site right from the beginning. And then as you learn and grow on Etsy, you can develop more time and dedicate more time to your own site. But it is just really good, as I said before, to have your own site as a backup anyway. For POD, if I want to order an item for myself as a sample, do I have to order through my Etsy shop, or is there a way to do it on Printify and pay cost price? Yes, you would want to definitely do this through Printify. There is actually a button that says samples, and you can order your item that you have already created and have it sent directly in the order place through the Printify platform. Can you explain the different file types and what customers like best for downloads? The sizing and file types for digital downloads is confusing. So this really just depends on the product category that you are selling in. So the different file types will depend on the product. So obviously the SVG files would be the scalable vector graphics, and these are used with like cutting machines like the Cricut or the Silhouette machine. They're usually very simple color based, not like sublimation, which is something like this, which is always in a PNG or JPEG format. And that is the same for the Tumblr designs as well. If you were creating like a printable checklist, then that is most likely something that is going to be created and saved as a PDF or even a Word doc or a Google Doc. And then you also have the ones like a editable Canva template, which would be something like this, where they can edit it in Canva or a different software as well. How much do you spend on ad, including those that are not Etsy ads? Also, do you outsource that or do it yourself? So on average, I spend anywhere from $100 to about $150 a day, depending on the day. And those are all Etsy ads. I don't use any other type of marketing outside of Etsy ads. And that is something that I do handle myself, though it doesn't take very much work because they're pretty optimized. I look at it about once a month and go through it as an inventory and remove any designs that are not selling or that have lost money. What is the best way to promote digital products such as car coaster designs, license plate sublimation, tumbler wraps outside of Etsy ads? I would say that Facebook groups are going to be where most of these types of customers are, whether you have your own Facebook group or you join ones where they allow promotion of sellers, though you might run into a lot of competition that way and increased theft of other types of sellers seeing your designs and then recreating. So I would highly recommend starting your own Facebook group. I have seen Pinterest work as well. And TikTok did do fairly well for me in the beginning, though I mostly promoted my membership on that. But it just requires more time because you actually have to make videos instead of just being able to use your product image photos. If I'm selling elements such as clip art that are themed around something that is trademarked, say clip art that goes with a football team, but the design itself isn't infringing on any IP, is it illegal to use a slogan on the mockups to show how the elements can be used? So say I've got the colored fleur-de-lis that match the Saints. Could I use the who dat on the mockup with the elements to show how they can be used, even though I don't think that that exact phrase is copyrighted? I would just be extremely careful with this because Etsy does have image scrapers. So even though you may not use anything copyrighted or trademarked within your titles, tags, or description, it could still show up in the image and then get flagged that way. If it's not copyrighted, then you shouldn't have an issue, or trademarked, then you shouldn't have an issue with it. I would just be really careful with NFL, things like that, just because they do patrol a lot on Etsy and they will eventually get taken down. What do you do with negative reviews or some reviews that just leave low stars without any comments? So this is the one that I left up before because I normally don't pay much attention to it now just because I have so many reviews. It's very rare that I get negative ones. But this is one that happened earlier on last week. It said, I have tried to download this image and can't get to it. Customer service needs work. Well, we do have an automated message that says we will respond to all of your messages within 24 hours. And then it has some basic answers to questions. And the customer service VA did reach out. I think this was sent at night and they did it the next morning. So it could have been about 12 hours that they were waiting for a response, but it was overnight. And when they reached out to them, because they had sent a message as well as left the review immediately, she mentioned that she did not know how to unzip the folder. We provided instructions with how to unzip a folder, and we also thanked her for her review, which was just common practice. It said, and thanks for your review. She responded with that we basically did not answer fast enough, and that we were welcome for our review, and that she wished she could do it again, and did not reference the fact that we gave her the information of how to unzip a file, even though this is something that could have totally been Googled and she probably would have been able to unzip it immediately. It's just kind of a case of one of those customers who anything that you do, there's nothing that you're going to do to make them change the review or make them happy. So after that, we just go ahead and publicly respond. If we've had a circumstance like this where we've messaged back and forth, we will respond publicly on the review here so that anyone can see that we did try to rectify the situation. And then that's kind of it. For ones that leave 1-star reviews and don't leave any type of message, we just generally ignore them. In the past, we used to reach out to them, but they rarely have ever changed or updated their review. Did you do any mindset work? So I didn't do any specific mindset work to begin with, though I will say, since I have multiple businesses online, I have bought several courses that did have very large mindset or motivational type components to them that I have taken. I currently just usually listen to one short 10 to 15 minute motivational podcast each day, or read a chapter in a business motivational book, and call it good for there. And that is kind of just more of content consuming that's related to my niche, or at least business related, that is motivational. But that's pretty much all that I have done as far as specific mindset work. I did realize that I forgot what software would you encourage people to master first, so I wanted to touch back on this one. And I would highly recommend that you focus on mastering whatever design software that you are creating your products in. So whether that be Kittl, something like Kittl for print on demand or for digital products, or Canva because you create printables, or whatever it is that you are creating in, I would highly recommend that you master that type of software, just because that's where you're going to see the most types of results for your products is in the design, as the SEO component can be found within tools like eRank and Everbee, so that is provided to you. But really mastering that software, or even if you are in something like Photoshop or Adobe, really just honing those type of skills for whatever product that you are creating, and making sure that you're creating the best product possible for your customer that will get you sales, hopefully the most. I hope that you all found this type of video helpful and informative, and be sure to have your notifications on, and I will be sure to have another video like this upcoming where you can ask another round of questions. And with that, I will see you all in the next video.